People who don't ever want to have kids, why? I love my niece and nephew too, but after an entire day with them I really need some peace and quiet. If it's your own kids, you don't get that. This is me 100%. I love kids. Other people's kids. I love spending time with them and teaching them, and I have been volunteering in youth ministry for my church for 36 years. I also have 5 nephews and a great-nephew, as well as being aunt to the children of many of my friends. But I also love sending them home when the class/day/outing is over. The stress of being 100% responsible for a child or children 100% of the time is just not for me. I can be a lot more loving and patient with my kids because they go home with someone else. You know how people often say I'll do a better job than my parents ever did? Yeah, that doesn't always work out that way. My parents were absolutely horrible to us. My sibling said I'll do a better job. She really thought she would. She didn't. She didn't finish her education, just like our parents didn't. She's completely overwhelmed with taking care of her children, just like our parents were. Her husband is trash, just like our father was. She has untreated mental issues, just like our mother had. Her children are unruly, constantly fight, have zero manners. She didn't do a better job. I did get help for my issues, and I can safely say that I will not be a better parent. The one thing I can do is take in teens as a foster parent, so I can help them with school, going to university and getting the proper help. Because if I can do it, so can they. Teens deserve help. I don't need to put children on this planet if there are plenty for me to help. I wish someone had helped me when I was a teenager. Because I believe that children deserve parents that will love them, always put them first, spend quality time with them and make sacrifices so that their children can have the best opportunities. But at the same time have the strength to set boundaries and discipline them in a healthy way so that they grow into good human beings. Also because I don't currently have a partner or much financial stability in my life at this stage, and I don't want to be a single parent or bring a child into the world if I'm not in a position to provide for them. And I don't trust myself to be unselfish enough to be everything that I believe a child deserves. I sometimes catch myself thinking that children might be nice, but until I'm sure of myself, financially stable and in a steady relationship, a child is unlikely to be in the picture. Edit. First, I'd like to thank everyone for all of their replies, awards, and input. Both those who agreed and who disagreed. It's always nice to get a balanced perspective on things. So please try not to downvote people who disagree with my statement into oblivion. A lot can be learned and taken from opinions that differ from your own. Also, I'd like to clarify that when I said sacrifices, I don't mean drag me to the pyre and make me a martyr. Sacrifices, obviously take care of your own health and well-being first. But unless you are in a very cushy place in life, it is likely that, as a parent, you'll have to make the decision on whether or not to forsake something for your kids. Whether it's something as small as not being able to get those new clothes that you wanted because your child needs some new stuff for school, or something like giving up your dream job because it would mean uprooting your child at a crucial stage in their learning. All of those are sacrifices, and there are people out there who have ended up resenting their kids for less. Yes. I'm surprised I had to scroll this far to find this comment. My aunt became pregnant when I was 16. I remember one day she came into my bedroom and said, "Hey, check this out," and lifted her shirt. Her belly was rippling and moving. You could see huge bumps moving across her skin. At one point, I swear I saw the outline of a tiny footprint for a few seconds. She thought it was adorable. I couldn't bear to look at, let alone touch, her stomach. She insisted that it didn't hurt at all, but it honestly looked like something from the movie Alien. If you're really curious, you can look up videos of babies kicking from inside the womb on YouTube to get an idea of what I'm describing. I decided there and then that I did not want kids. It was honestly a relief when I realized I was a lesbian and that I would never accidentally become pregnant. Pregnancy is absolutely a form of body horror. I don't think I would be able to even look at my own belly if I ever somehow became pregnant. Same with my mom. I keep telling her that we want to be financially and mentally ready for kids before even planning. Her answer? It's selfish to just live for yourself, life is about family and kids give your life a whole new meaning. Now I did say that we just want to be ready, but her answer makes me angry, haha. Kids are not all in life, my life does have a meaning and me and my husband are a family even without the kids. Edit, the issue is about different values. I don't hate her as a person, but that she's not capable of or even trying to understanding my point of view. In her defense, she had me at 18, so she never had anything but family. Sadly though, I'm trying to build a career here and I want to be acknowledged and judged for that rather than how well or often I pop out some kids. This hits people who've dealt with infertility especially hard. These couples have often spent years and then tens of thousands of dollars to have a baby. They poured their hearts and souls into it. It becomes their everything. Then, for the lucky ones, it works. There's so much excitement and anticipation during the pregnancy, and then the baby arrives and reality hits them upside the head. Being a parent is hard. The newborn stage is grueling. They built it up so much just to be faced with hormones, sleeplessness, an abrupt life change, a strain on their marriage, etc. So many of them second guess their decision to have the child because that initial period is just so difficult. Thankfully, most of the couples I know got through the situation and a number of them went on to have additional children, but man, it was a tough go those first few months. Ignore the crap. My mom had 4 kids, last one unwanted, with like a 20-year age gap, and her whole life was sacrificed caring for us. She did her best, but I feel bad she gave up all her own dreams so we could have ours. I would not blame her at all if she told me she wouldn't have had us all if she could do it over. I'd be shocked if she said otherwise, and no, it's a lie. I also know she loves us, and her doing it over idea only came after she already bore the fruits of her love, and nothing will erase that love, even her occasional regrets as to her personal life she gave up. It'd be like if someone saved my life but got injured in the moment. Then later they say they are glad they saved me, but knowing what they know it entailed, they wouldn't have done it. May not sound pleasant, but the good deed is done, they suffered for it, I benefited, and their regret about the damage they suffered is 100% understandable. Humans are complex. Best to learn empathy. Parents are not saints, they are people struggling like you and me. I didn't want kids and had a couple oops babies. They're teen and preteen now. I feel so guilty for not wanting them that I overcompensate, and my youngest has some mild separation anxiety. It's FKN exhausting. I keep wondering if I would be happier if I had just taken better precautions and never gotten pregnant in the first place. It's definitely negatively affected my mental and physical health. Which doesn't mean I don't love them. They're amazing humans and I'd do just about anything for them, which is basically why the therapist has said my youngest has separation anxiety, but because I had such shitty parenting and I don't want that for them, especially because they weren't wanted but I couldn't mentally handle an abortion, I've gone overboard and basically made my life entirely about them. Yeah, if you don't think you want kids, don't have them. You may not resent them, but you'll likely always be wondering, what if? EDA, thank you so much for the awards. Yeah, I'm with this. My 2 younger half-brothers are 10 and 13 years younger than me, and I have a sister 3 years older. My sister and I basically raised my little brothers because our mom was working a lot of nights and weekends and their father was always playing video games while we fed them and bathed them and all that stuff. As an added bonus, one of my brothers had type 1 diabetes from the age of 3, so we would regularly look after his blood sugar levels and give him insulin injections. We were still teenagers at the time too. Now I have no interest in having kids because I already know all the work involved and I've done it before, and my partner isn't interested in kids either. We would rather save our money and travel the world. Because fucking look at this mess. God damn. What's more, is the pandemic, land food and water shortages, the garbage island, ozone depletion, incessant desire for ever more unattainable wealth and all the rest of the garbage the human race is responsible for. For what? In a perfect world, yeah, I'd love to have kids. God damn, I'd love those little shits and I'd give them a better and more productive / loved / fulfilled childhood, adolescence and adulthood than me or my siblings. I'd read books and continue therapy and actually commit my life to them so they'd be well prepared for tomorrow's world. My baby fever is real. I fully understand and am thoroughly consciente of my biological imperative. But Jesus H. Christ, in the same way I've learned to control anger and learn how to communicate effectively, rather than spitting the dummy and throwing a tantrum, see also, maturation, I've also learned how detrimental humankind truly is. We are collectively fucking monsters. Myself and my never-to-exist children included. I think here and there it sounded like an okay idea, but I realized that most of the things we think of with parenthood are the highlight reels. It's not the everyday stuff. Another thing that I realized was just observing myself. I've never been super crazy about being around kids. I was never really raised around kids much younger than me where I was used to relating to them. Then as an adult, it's not like I've sought out spaces where there are kids around. Likewise, there has never been a time where I've been someplace and a pile of kids comes in and I'm like, all right, kids. That's what this place was missing. Note, I'm not all like, oh Jesus. The children have arrived. I've got to get out of here. But I'm less apt to stick around for the noise and chaos that usually comes along with them. In light of that, the notion of having a kid around all the time likely doesn't sound like a good, long-term happiness thing for me. I'm happy for people to have them, and I'm happy to see when friends' kids do great things. I'm just much happier that they're their kids and not my own. 1. Freedom. I crave it. I need it. There are so many reasons why kids take that away from you, from working longer hours / harder jobs to support them to having to actively take care of them. It's too much responsibility that I don't need. I don't even have a fish bowl cause I don't want to worry about feeding them and keeping the tank clean. 2. Money. I hate working. I want to build up a few more rental properties and retire early. Kids slow this down. 3. Settling down sucks. I prefer girlfriends and dating. The idea of marriage is honestly terrifying. I don't understand how anyone can spend a long term with a single woman when you can have so much more fun with short-term girlfriends. It's always fresh. You get to live that puppy love phase over and over. Marriage feels like a leftover concept from the days when we'd only lived 30 years before we died from a stomach flu or something due to lack of sanitation and water. Not in modern day where we live 70 plus years. I get that some of you find that soulmate that you never want to leave, but most people will never find that and aren't even programmed for that. I'd rather not spend half my life miserable because I picked the wrong one and have to raise a family with her. 4. I don't like kids. Babies aren't cute. I didn't like kids when I was a kid. I hated teenagers when I was a teenager. I just don't want anything to do with it. 5. The world doesn't need more people. The absolute best thing you can do to fight climate change is not have a kid. I'll go eat my extravagant meals, take vacations 3 times a year, and drive gas-guzzling sports cars, but my carbon footprint is still way less than you who just had a kid. If I could press a button to cap it to 2 kids per couple until we are under 4 billion, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I think the world is shit to begin with and don't see it getting better anytime soon, and would feel guilty for bringing kids into a place I just don't think is that great, honestly. I barely want to still be here. Why force a kid to stay here as well? Money is already tight and kids are expensive for just basic needs, that's not counting the splurging I would want to do. I enjoy being selfish with my time. I want to do what I want when I want and not have to worry about it. Stay up till 3 and not have to worry about getting anybody up and ready for school. Watch horror movies all the time and not have to worry who's in the room with me. No quiet quickies while the kids are outside. I can enjoy being with my husband as long and loud as I want wherever I want in the house. I can be naked all the time. Mental health issues run on both my husband's and my side of the family and we don't want to pass them on. My depression isn't something I would want a kid to worry about, it's not fair to them. I'm not saying people with depression are bad parents, I just don't want to take the chance. I remember when my mom was just a muffled voice on the other side of the door, and that's not something I want another child to go through. I don't want them. I don't like children. I can't stand the sound they make. My worst fear in the world is childbirth/being pregnant, tocophobia, and I would seriously end my life rather than go through that. To me, a child takes away my freedom. It is a trap, a cage, a life that is dull, sad, and unsatisfactory. I don't judge parents or people who want them, because it's not my life and not my business. My path in life is not anyone else's, and people should do what makes their life feel fulfilled and happy, whatever it is. I would obviously never do anything to a child and help them when I see they need help. People think people who don't like children somehow will try to eradicate any tiny human they see, so I felt the need to specify. While I can appreciate moments with some children when I interact with them, I've always known that I don't want them, and I'm happy that I live in a society where I can't be forced to have one, where I have the freedom to choose. This is like when people ask me, why don't you like sports? Or why don't you believe in God? I would say you're asking the wrong person the wrong question. Just ask yourself, or someone who wants kids, why they want kids. Now take away those reasons, and now you know why I don't have any. But maybe a less rude answer is just, I never had the strong desire to. It's not that I dislike them, and if my wife had wanted kids or gotten pregnant, I would be a father right now. But that didn't happen, so here we are. For what it's worth, I'm happy with where I am. I've got plenty of time to go on 5 walks a day with my dog and fit in 50+ miles per week of running. I can watch all the educational YouTube videos I want. I can travel at a moment's notice, which I do for work. And yeah, I'm not struggling with finances, which is nice. Like when I do travel, the dog resort knows my dog gets the private villa, because I can afford it. And I have all the silly toys, but I would agree that's not anywhere near the true joy that parents who wanted kids feel. But on that topic, I am buying something pretty awesome, an early retirement. I've got 10 years left before I quit and start being on the water and drinking and reading as much as I want. Well, I kind of do that now, but full time, haha. I just don't want to. I don't have whatever inborn desire for kids some people seem to have, and I don't think life as a parent would make me happier than life as a non-parent. As a woman, I'm not willing to put my body through pregnancy and childbirth for the mere possibility that having a kid would make me happy, even though I have no actual desire for kids. Also, I haven't seen any parent with a life that looks like something I'd enjoy. Even parents who are able to do date nights, take trips, etc. have to do so much negotiating and planning and center so many elements of their lives completely around their children. I'm sure that's all worth it if you want kids, but it looks like a slog to me. I'm excited about the possibility of being an aunt in the future and getting to introduce my nibblings to stuff I like, take them trick-or-treating, etc. without having to ever organize a playdate or go to a parent-teacher conference or cancel a date night because my kid is sick. I don't want them. I don't like children. I can't stand the sound they make. My worst fear in the world is childbirth/being pregnant, tocophobia, and I would seriously end my life rather than go through that. To me, a child takes away my freedom. it is a trap, a cage, a life that is dull, sad, and unsatisfactory. I don't judge parents or people who want them, because it's not my life and not my business. My path in life is not anyone else's, and people should do what makes their life feel fulfilled and happy, whatever it is. I would obviously never do anything to a child and help them when I see they need help. People think people who don't like children somehow will try to eradicate any tiny human they see, so I felt the need to specify. While I can appreciate moments with some children when I interact with them, I've always known that I don't want them, and I'm happy that I live in a society where I can't be forced to have one, where I have the freedom to choose.